All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. You guys, we have a couple interesting things for you. Ross Coulthart released a video yesterday. It's just a Q&A of him talking to the people, and he's answering some questions in the chat. And one of the topics that he got on was psyops and being children, that they tend to recruit children from school, from the school year of first grade to 12th grade, and they do. Apparently, they are watching kids that are in the gifted and talented program. And they also talk about gay, left-handed men and children. Children do appear to be the most sensitive to psionics. And then after that, another topic comes up about Michael Herrera. This one's kind of interesting because Michael Herrera appeared on Dr. Stephen Greer's, I don't want to say show, but it was like an event that he had, I don't know, a few years back. And he got on the podium and he was speaking to the people, and he was talking about one of the missions he had when he was in the military, and he ran into this, which you'll see here when Ross Coulthart speaks about it. I always thought it was a bunch of BS, to be honest with you. I'm still not 100% convinced that actually happened, but he does bring it up, and he's going to talk about that. And it sounds like he's going to end up having an interview with Michael Herrera at some point as well. Anyways, you guys, like, subscribe for more content just like this, and I hope you guys enjoy the video.
Look, I'm not sure if it's still coming out. Maybe it's still going through DOPSR, Defense Office Pre-Publication Security Review approval. But in the blurb that was published at the time in April 2023, Andrews came across a file compiled for him by his late father, containing records from a past he did not remember, including documents indicating he was removed from school for weeks every year from the 1st through 12th grades. It also contained evidence that he'd received an honourable discharge
from the 1st through, what do you say, 12th grade? First grade, they're starting young, man. They're starting extremely young.
From the US Air Force, and that he worked in space intelligence communications as a minor. Now that's very interesting, because I initially thought that was science fiction as well, and I'm now talking to people who've been inside the Psionics program who also tell me that they were recruited as children. And in fact, there is some evidence to suggest, if you are willing to believe this, I don't expect you to, but I'll give it a go anyway, that the best psionics are kids. And as well as the left-handed gays that we talked about in the actual program, prepubescent children are often targeted in schools through the GATE program, the Gifted and Talented Education program. And I've issued an appeal before for people who are interested in talking to me about this. I am aware from talking to multiple people now that there were children who were diverted outside of the school system into a program that was administered by the US military or intelligence community that involved training in psionics. I know it sounds like an episode of Stranger Things, and by golly, it certainly presents as such. Some of what happened.
I'm glad he acknowledges that, because Ross Coulthart is 100% right. It does come across as way fantastical and just crazy, right? I mean, come on. So I'm glad that he acknowledges that. To me, that brings some validity to what he's saying.
It is quite terrifying, and I'm sure for any little child it was absolutely scarifying. Anyway, so those are the two books I'm interested in. Above Black, Dan Sherman is the one I'm. Will Michael Herrera and Stephen Greer be in any future follow-up? I can tell you I'm talking to Michael Herrera, and as you would know if you're watching Michael Herrera, I can now reveal, as Jake revealed in his long-form interview, that Jake gives credibility to Michael Herrera's account in Indonesia on a relief operation of him and his patrol coming.
So I remember Michael Herrera's story. He was on a special that, if I remember correctly, that Dr. Stephen Greer had did a few years ago. I mean, it seemed pretty crazy. I thought it was a bunch of baloney, to be completely honest with you. But let's keep on going.
Coming across what he described as some kind of pods. And the reason why those pods are significant, I think originally Michael Herrera and Stephen Greer mistakenly assumed that these pods were being used for trafficking humans against their will, that there was some kind of criminal human trafficking operation going on. It's all possible, it's illegal or criminal, but the simple fact is these people were not, I'm told, being taken against their will. What was actually happening, and to some degree what Jake's talking about here is speculative. What he can identify are the pods that Michael Herrera describes and the 8 gone craft that was on the location in Indonesia. He says that everything that Herrera describes is consistent with his understanding of what he's seen in the program, albeit the 8 gone craft is considerably smaller. It does sound like that craft that Michael Herrera saw was some kind of reproduction vehicle, which, if true, raises the very real probability that yes, the United States may well have crafted this technology to such a point that it's been able to reproduce some of the capabilities of the NHI tech. I don't know that for sure. At the moment, if anybody wants to ask me this question, what I do know is that we have learned how to operate the NHI tech that is retrieved using human consciousness. My sources are actually telling me that it has been an extremely difficult process to attempt to replicate the materials science technology behind these craft, that it's literally thousands of years ahead of our capabilities. So there's a nuance there. But what I can tell you is that Jake has told me that the pod that Michael Herrera gave Jake a very clear and accurate description of is essentially conforming to the shape and design of the objects that are used by the psionic assists in the program. That essentially, in order to assist the psionic assists to do what they do, which is to consciously connect using their abilities to NHI craft, and I know this sounds like science fiction, they need somewhere to essentially meditate, and that these pods provide them with that capability. That's all I know for the moment.
All right, in that video, did Ross Coulthart just say that the 8 gone pods that come out for it, that these psionics people are actually mind controlling them, and it kind of forms a pod for them to meditate? Like liquid metal? Is that what he's saying? You know what? I don't know what he's saying. All of it sounds a bit fantastical. I love that he acknowledged the fact that this sounds like sci-fi. You probably won't believe me that. I love that he said that. Anyways, it is absolutely insane. I love this stuff, man. I absolutely love this stuff. Not saying I believe all of it, but I love this stuff. You know what I mean? Anyways, you guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with your friends. And you guys, let's talk about this. Leave some comments down below. Let's talk about the psionics team. Let's talk about the recruitment system. And are they controlling the shape of the metal psionically? Who knows? Anyways, guys, peace out. Catch you in the next one.